And then shall that wicked be revealed. The Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him which comes after the workings of sin.
So Project Looking Glass was a government operation to serve the elite class, to look into the future for the purposes of orchestrating the current state of being to shape whatever future they wanted. They could control the variables once they viewed the future to ensure that certain outcomes played out. But what they saw horrified them. They did not like what they saw in the future. And no matter how they tried to manipulate it, there was no future outcome that served them. What they saw was all possible timelines led to a convergence. Meaning that no matter what timeline they rode, no matter what option, there was only one outcome. And that outcome is white men's and the ruling elite class is exposed and destroyed. That's what they saw that terrified them. And they tried and tried to punch as many holes through time and space as they could. That is what is going on with CERN. Trying to orchestrate or work out some other outcome, but there is no other outcome. There is no other outcome, is the problem. But what we are living through now, this chaos that we're living through now, is their final attempt to maintain control. These are their death rolls, because it is all falling apart, and there is nothing they can do about it. And they already knew, they already saw this was coming. So it's sort of a no-holds-bar fight now. They have nothing to lose. And they have to try everything they can think of, but there is no workaround to this situation because light wins. So I mentioned that to bring your awareness to we're in the middle of a psyop right now. This is a psychological operative that we're living through right now. This is part of their strategy. This psychological operative is designed to make us feel helpless, hopeless, powerless, defeated. That's how they want us to feel. That's what they want us to believe. They want the current system to stay in place because they're the ones in control right now. They're the puppet masters. They want things to remain the same. And they want to dupe us into also holding on to the status quo. We have to let the system fall apart. We have to let the system crumble. Because they are the ones running the system. And their time is over.
The time continuum has been disrupted, creating this new temporal event sequence resulting in this alternate reality.
English, Doc.
Here. Let me illustrate. Imagine that this line represents time. Here's the present, 1985, the future, and the past. Prior to this point in time, somewhere in the past, the timeline skewed into this tangent, creating an alternate 1985. Alternate to you, me, and Einstein, but reality for everyone else. Recognize this? It's the bag the sports book came in. I know, because the receipt was still inside. I found them in the time machine. Along with this.
It's the top of Biff's cake. I mean, all Biff from the future.
Correct. It was in the time machine because Biff was in the time machine with the sports almanac.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKodash, And double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to the other elders, you brethren, you fellow believers of this truth. Shalom to you brothers and sisters that support the truth. Shalom to the elect. So anyway, I want to go into this video off a response of the elder out of GMS, South Carolina, Elder Manatazat Ba. Obviously, you should have subscribed to his channel, but if you haven't, GMS, South Carolina, 808. Now, he said he got this video from brothers out of a chat, but he said he already saw it but never got around to it. I know how that goes, so I figured I'd do a response. I thought this was interesting, and that's why I put the clip in there. And now they even got proof, and I'll go into some AI because he did go into AI. I watched almost most of the video, but I go into different AIs and just try to dig a little bit. And the fact that now they're going into the past from what is alleged, right? And they're trying to change the past to have a better outcome for the future, since they try to go into the future. And this is what they put in their movies, like this show called Timeless. They did the same thing. They built a ship to go into the past and stop the assassination of JFK. But see, we know Romans 13, this is a big problem. When we go to Romans 13 and 1, it speaks of, I don't have it up. Let me see if I can get it real quick. Let me pause this one real quick. Or let me mute it.
So I mentioned that to bring your
her hands, if you look at her hands,
right now, this is a psychological.
Her hands look like they're very fidgety. She can't, she's thinking a bullet is coming through that window on her, like right away. If you look at her hands, she thinks something about to happen to her now. She's probably sitting in a disclosed area. Look at her fingers. She was probably working with them. You know what I'm saying? And now she sees the outcome and she's trying to save her own ass. Anyway, Romans 13 and 1. This is why this is not a man. This is Esau. He rejected. Hebrews 12. He found no place for repentance. His set outcome is set from day one. Yeah, that's it. Let me get that too. Romans 13 and 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. For it is no power but God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinances of God. You cannot think the Lord is not in charge of all of this. Even if there are so-called timelines or whatever, do you know there's going to be you can look at the movie, Terminator Genesis, when the outcome is a great new world, a great new place. This is all for these elites. This is why you didn't see Jake in there like that. That ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? It says, resisteth the ordinance of God. They that resisteth shall receive themselves damnation. Right? So they resisted the ordinance that's set up. They're trying to change it. They're trying to change things and twist things. If they had it their way, they'll go back in time and eliminate all Israelites. You know what I'm saying? But hey, this is a higher power that created them. Let's go to Romans. Are we in Romans? Yeah, let's go to Romans. Yeah, real quick. Let's go back. Let's go to Romans, the 9th chapter. Let's see what the Lord set up. It says Romans 9 and 6, real quick. Not as though the word of God hath taken none effect, for they are not all Israel which are of Israel, neither because they are the seed of Abraham are they the children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Let me go on down. Verse 9. For this is the word promise. For this is the word of promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. For the children being not yet born, neither having he done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to the election might stand, not of works, but him that calleth. It was said unto her, the eldest shall serve the youngest, and that's how it's going to go. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the one that beginneth. That's why the Lord put it in that order. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So I want to go over here to some, this is some AI. I like this AI. it kind of here's your point. But they're going to tell you what they tell you until you're able to open up and show them that you know something, right? This is Claude AI. Put a lot of brothers down with this. It does very well. Anyway, it says, I mean, Google AI works too. I mean, like the elder, he just got straight to the point. You know, sometimes we just carry it on, you know. It says there are actually a few different things that's named Project Looking Glass. Project Tech Project, that's the real one. Then they got here the conspiracy theory, not real. This is likely what you're seeing circulating online, and core version refers to supposed to covert initiative designed to observe, predict, or even influence future events. Now, this is what I said. I'm not going to read all of it. Fiction, Agent Shield, Marvel TV. There you go. Project Looking Glass was a fictional project. Everything they show you in these movies, right? There hasn't almost been anything they haven't showed you in the 60s that's not happening now. Cell phones with Captain Kirk with Star Trek, you know, GPS system, plasma TVs, LCD screens, wireless, internet. Everything you see now, they project it to you in a manner so you become psychologically used to it through movies, because these things are shocks to people. So it's not a shock to you. But anyway, let's see what I asked. I said the conspiracy theory Project Looking Glass, although it is not verified, is there possible. Some things may be true. After all, there were things that was conspiracy 50 years ago, but now legit. It says that is generally a fair, intellectual, honest point. History absolutely backs up your reasoning, right? Your point is generally well taken, and history strongly supports that skepticism. Official narrative, you know, it's going to go back, but I just want to see what it has to say. Your point is valid. History proves it. Things that were once called conspiracy theories but turned out to be real. MK Ultra, the CIA actually did run mind control program using drugs, hypnosis, and psychological torture on unwitting subjects, officially denied for decades. COINTELPRO, the FBI secretly infiltrated and sabotaged civil rights groups, including surveilling MLK. But you see how our people just look at it and say, it doesn't matter. We got some technology, we got some cell phones, we got some comfort. Even though in all this comfort, you're being spied on, you're being looked at, your conversations being recorded, you almost can't live without that cell phone. This is why they got rid of regular phones. So what they've managed to do is make convenience more slavery. You know what I'm saying? So now you have more slavery than we ever had. You can't hide your money under the bed. Oh yeah, that was in movies 50 years ago too. Digital currency, you know, how they paid for things. This was all set up back then. So now we think it's a gift to have all these things, but it really puts you in more slavery. Now they know what you make. They know where you spent. You can go through your history. I'm not surprised if they are creating some sabotaging some form of these scams that go on. So then now they have the excuse to roll in, or let me say control more of your identity and know more about you and where you walk and where you go. So you have the ultimate chess match, right? Anyway, Operation Northern Woods. I don't think I've ever seen this. Declassified documents show the U.S. military actually purposed staging terrorist attacks on Americans to justify a war in Cuba. And it's a mass, I mean, we can go on. This has a lot going on. Remote viewing projects. It says here, called conspiracy theory until Edward Snowden proved it was real in 2013. Remote viewing project Stargate. The CIA, DIA actually did fund psychic research to spy on Soviets for over 20 years, fully classified. Yeah, okay. Real Cold War programs, psychological operations, unconventional research. We also know that the thing with the chemical trails and what's the other one? Weather machines. Now that's all come out to be true. Now I know about combustible gases, right? So when you start your car up, if it's not electric, if it's combustion, some of them are hybrids, but if you put fuel in your car, the way fuel works, it goes into your gas tank. The fuel pump that sits in your gas tank pushes the fuel up to the throttle body injection system. Once it goes up in the throttle body injection system, you have what you call vacuum, a breather, right? Which is like a ventilation system for the engine, which brings in combustion, forces air into the system along with the gas, and then you have spark plugs. So when the spark plugs ignite, you have what you call combustion. And when you have this kind of combustion, it can create condensation, and especially when it's cold, because you got water that's in your gas or in your tank. So when a combustion happens, it's going to expel the water out through your tailpipe, and in a cold, foggy morning, you'll see a bunch of smoke come out of your back of your car. But what's the difference is it dissipates over time. You just don't see it sit there. But if you have a blown head gasket, you know, something, a blown head gasket, and the antifreeze that's supposed to separate the antifreeze from the rest of the engine, and the antifreeze starts blowing by to the exhaust. This antifreeze comes through the exhaust system, through your Cadillac converter muffler, out of the back, and what you have is a bunch of smoke. So if you ever seen a car, even in the summer, that rides and you see all this white smoke come out of the back, that's what you call a chemical trail. That's a chemical trail. If it's just a mist in the winter, and when you blow your mouth and you see that fog come out of your mouth, that's air and crystal molecules. So that's condensation. And in some cases with cars, the oil will blow by and you'll see a bunch of blue smoke come out of the back from the combustion, right? And that's also chemical related. So when you see a plane fly in the air and that trail stays there for miles, and you look back 20 minutes later and it's still there, chances are it's chemical. So now that's all that's coming out as well, right? I just wanted to touch on that. But we want to go to Malachi real quick. Is it Malachi? Malachi. Let's go to Malachi 1. The outcome is still going to be the same. And that's what they're trying to change. Whether from the future, they're going into the future, so to speak. They go into the future to see the outcome. They'll try to go into the past to change it. And every time they try it, and I believe that's what that CERN is about. That CERN, you watch that show Flash, that represents that photon beams of light. And as you keep going in circles, like when Flash would run in circles, it would open up a dimension, right? That's why you see all the sickness, and you see what's happening now in the world. You know, the CERN is opened up, right? So that's and the Lord is doing all of this, right? Anyway, Malachi 1, the burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord, yet ye say, where hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? The Lord saith the Lord, yet I loved Jacob, and I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. Remember the scripture says the pillars of the earth are the Lord's. 1 Samuel 2 and 6. He bringeth up and bringeth down. He releases those secrets, right? When you go to Amos, he reveals his secrets to his servants, the prophets. He also reveals secrets to Esau. You know what I'm saying? So they believe that, let me say, he revealed things to them that they believe will go in their favor, right? Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and shall call them the border of wickedness, the people against whom the Lord have indignation forever. So they are trying to fight against the Lord. That's why I said Romans 13:1. They're trying to fight against the powers. Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Right? And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. This woman literally prophesied what was coming to pass. They saw their own judgment, right? And this is why he's doing what he's doing, right? They really believe they're going to win, and there has to be somewhere in place where the Lord is going to reveal to them a false reality or a false timeline where they will really believe that they're going to win this war. We heard that guy Abraham Finkelstein say that when he brought out all the truth about what's in the McDonald's food and the kidnappings and all that. He literally said, we're going to win next time. We got the technology, right? So they're fighting with others. They got other spirits and demons connected with them. They know it's just not them. They need them connections, right? Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell therein. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he had but a short time. See, he's being pushed to the brink of, we must do this before this particular timeline. So they figure if they can catch it and they get the Israelites out of the way before this particular timeline, then we'll do it. And this is what these jabs, and when this thing happened and they want everybody to, to line up for the 3-point jump shot and booster shots and everything else. Yeah, they understand what's going on. That's why they're wiser than the children of light, but they ain't, and to us, they're wiser than us on certain levels, but that's the foolishness of the world. So they know what's going on, and this is why they're trying to stop it, as they say, pre-adventure or something like that, so they won't, so the prophecy won't take forth. So I believe they're given a timeline. They could see it. It's no real outcome, but they kind of see, or the Lord's going to allow them to see a timeline, but they're going to have to hurry up before that timeline is open. I mean, it's just a theory to me. That may not be the case, but there's got to be something in them that believe they're going to win. They're not just going to lay down. Remember, the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to Ephesians 6:12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So not only are they tapping in with that stuff, those portals or whatever is going on with them, they are tapped into the left-hand side of the spiritual darkness that the Lord created too. You know what I'm saying? So all of that, and so-called aliens, UFOs, and this and that, and spirits, they all kind of going hand in hand, these spirits. You know what I'm saying? The Lord got multiple kind of angels and spirits and demons, just for the cause, of what he wants. So it's all, as I read Romans 9, for the purpose of the election. All of this stuff. As I like to bring out, I've seen all that stuff. I left my body and seen kind of the spirit realm. And I remember seeing unusual creatures and certain things that would make you throw up to look at. But when you're not in the flesh, it doesn't scare you. It really doesn't. When you leave that flesh, or when you're in another realm, it doesn't scare you at all. But that's how I know that flesh. That's different. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Shalom.